Being from Oklahoma, I feel like I'm pretty familiar with the roads. And one of my first consulting jobs was down in Oklahoma at the McAllister Army Ammunition Plant. And I decided I was going to get on a plane and fly from San Antonio to Tulsa, where I now live down in San Antonio, and visit with my dad. My dad still lives in Tulsa. Stopped and visited with my dad. Then I head down the Turnpike. Turnpike is a long toll road that you have to pay to drive on. I'm headed down the Turnpike, and as I exited McAllister, I noticed a sign that reads McAllister Army Ammunition Plant. This happens to be where I'm going, so I decided to follow the signs, turn where the signs told me to turn. Then I found the place. Then I turned around and I found my hotel. Once I got to my hotel, I got me a good night's sleep. But when I wake up in the morning, regardless how much sleep I've had, I have to have me a cup of coffee. So I grab me a cup of coffee, I get into my car, I'm headed down towards this sign that I'd seen the day before. But as I'm going down toward this sign, I feel a need for a drink of this cup of coffee. Well, I reach over for this cup of coffee as I'm looking for this sign along the road. As I reach over for this cup of coffee, I realize I can't find this sign without taking my eyes off the road. I look down, I grab the cup of coffee, and I start drinking the coffee. But I'm still looking for this sign. Well, this cup of coffee starts to get warm in my hand and I want to set it down. Now, if I was in my car in San Antonio, I could set it down without looking. I set the cup down as if I was in the car in San Antonio. You can imagine what happened. But because it's a rental car, I just reach over and rub it in a little bit. I get my eyes back on the road. As I get my eyes back on the road, I realize I just missed this sign. Now, what I should have done is I should have turned around, looked to see which way this sign told me to turn, but I didn't. I decided to take a guess at it. Well, I guessed wrong. About 500 yards into this turn, I start to realize I'm headed back on the turnpike. Not what I wanted to do. But I noticed that there's a lady in this toll booth ahead in front of me. And I figured maybe if I throw a little charm on this lady in the toll booth, maybe she'll let me turn around. So I pulled up to the lady and I said, "How you doing, ma'am?" She said, "I'm fine, how you doing?" I said, "Do you know where the Army Ammunition Plant is?" She said, "Yes, sir, it's back there behind you." I said, "Do you mind if I turn around in front of your booth here?" She said, "No, you can't turn around." She said, "What you have to do is you have to pay me $3, head down to the next exit, turn around and come back and pay $3 on the other side too." So I figured I'd ask her, "How about if I just give you $6 and you let me turn around now?" She said, "Son, did you hear what I said? I told you to pay me $3 and head down to the next exit." So I saw my charm didn't work. So I decided to give the lady $3 and I'm heading down toward the next exit. But as I'm going down toward the next exit, I'm not seeing a sign anywhere that says anything at all about the next exit. But what I start to notice that there's a wall that runs down the entire length of this turnpike. And every so often along this wall, they have a hole in this wall. And wherever there's a hole, there's a sign that reads, "For emergency use only." So you know what I'm thinking. To me, this is an emergency. But I decided that when I get to the next hole, I'm going to turn around. I get to the next hole, guess what? I got witnesses. I got people either coming towards me or people behind me, and I don't want anybody telling on me. So I decide I'm going to go a little bit further. Maybe the next exit is not that far. But as I look at my watch, I realize that I'm going to be late. And I decide when I get to the next hole, I'm turning around. When I get to the next hole, guess what's sitting there? You're right, the police. So I decided I have to go down to the next exit. I finally get down to the next exit. 36 miles later, I exit, turn around, come back as fast as I can, pay my money on the other side. The lady that I had the conversation with an hour earlier, she waved at me as I went through.